Hey there, Jackets fans. Welcome to Boom and Gloom, a podcast about the Columbus Blue Jackets, where I discuss the boom, the good, and the gloom, the bad. I'm your host, Anthony. I am also known as Whaler Jacket on Twitter and other social media platforms, and I call myself the longest suffering hockey fan in Ohio. If you haven't checked out my previous episodes, please do, if you'd like to know why I say that. I think it is fairly warranted. Summer podcast, here we go. So the summer podcast episodes are few and far in between, but we do have some news to talk about, so I figured I would throw out an episode and discuss some of the things going on. Not just in Blue Jackets land, but the hockey world in general. So I'm going to start with the non-Blue Jacket stuff. I want to talk about Utah. First and foremost, images of the jersey that the team will be wearing during their inaugural season, they've been released. They're generic, but they're fine. They're fine for year one, and considering the short turnaround time, they're fine. Now, Aesthetics did a nice piece on them and explained why settling on this result rather than a full branding with name and logo, why that makes more sense. Okay, so my opinion is that they're fine. If you haven't seen them yet, the team colors are black and ice blue. The main home jersey color is, being black. And their logo, there, of course, is not one. It's just the word Utah written in boring block letters, diagonally down the front of the jersey, just like the New York Rangers have. Now, again, I am fine with this concept for year one, but I really hope that the following season that they'll have a proper logo, and when they have a proper logo and actual name, that they incorporate purple into their color scheme, just like the Utah Jazz did. There is not a single team in the NHL right now, 32 teams, and not one of them uses the color purple as one of their main colors. I think that's crazy. Like, not even as an accent color. There's like no purple at all. And I'm not counting the alternate jerseys that the Ducks use, and I don't know, maybe the Kings use. I'm not sure if they have purple in their alternate third jerseys anymore. But every other major professional sports league, not sure about the MLS, I will say that, but every other major professional sports league has teams in it that use purple. You have the Vikings, the Jazz, the Lakers, the Rockies, the Ravens. There may be more. I don't know, but they're decent color schemes. Okay, so why are there absolutely no NHL teams that use it? Red, blue, black, and even yellow, so prominent. There's only two teams that I can think of that have green as part of their color scheme, and only 3 that use orange. And I personally love the color maroon. I love the Coyotes jerseys when they switch to a maroon-like color. But I think as of now, the Avalanche are the only team that uses something close to maroon. And no team uses brown either. No purple, no brown, no maroon. Well, I don't know if Colorado considers their jerseys maroon or not. Very few green, very few orange. So Utah, let's break the trend here, okay? Put some purple in your uniforms after next season. Let's do something different. And let's talk about that name. We are supposedly down to 6. There are 6 finalists that fans are allowed to vote on. And I'm using air quotes. I know you can't see me, but I'm using air quotes when I say the word vote. And I'll explain why in a moment. The final 6 names are Yeti, Venom, Mammoth, Blizzard, Outlaws, and Utah HC, Utah Hockey Club. And here's why I used air quotes, all right? I don't think anyone wants Utah HC. I think that's a product of what the ownership group is hoping for. From what I've gathered, they seem to prefer a minimalist, like a simple approach to their brandings. If you look at the Utah Jazz uniforms, you'll see what I mean. You know, one of them, I'm not sure if it's considered the home or away in basketball, but one of them is one of the most boring jerseys I have ever seen in professional sports, with just the word Utah in block letters, and that's it. So my theory is that Utah HC is not a name that received the 6th most votes or higher. Okay, this is ownership, all right, hoping that it gains traction. But to me, it's a stupid idea. Such a stupid idea. So dumb. And I don't think people are out in Utah talking about potential names and saying, "Well, I don't think we should have a name. I think we should just be called Hockey Club." I don't think anybody's saying that out in Utah. Any Utah fans who happen to be listening to this, am I wrong? Let me know. All right? Are there really people out there who think we don't need no stinking name? I mean, if I was getting a new hockey team in my city, I would want to follow NHL tradition and have a name to cheer for. And speaking of names, I want to share my thoughts on the other 5 possibilities, which are in fact actual names. Before I go any further, I forgot, by the way, you can vote as I did for the team name by going to I think it's NHLinutah.com. Yeah, NHLinutah.com. You can go there and you can vote on a name. So I've already said that I hate the idea of Utah HC. But I don't necessarily hate any of the others. All right? Hate's a very strong word. I do hate the idea of Utah HC. The other 5 names, I don't necessarily hate them, but I don't really like them. So, I think any of them, they'll grow on me. Okay, whatever's picked, it'll grow. I still hate the name Kraken, by the way. Stupid name. But I have accepted it. It has grown on me to a point where it flows off my tongue, and I don't always think to myself, man, what a stupid name. But I still hate that name. Okay, I would have been okay with Krakens with an S on the end, but the Kraken is one singular mythological creature. The name Kraken doesn't refer to a group. It doesn't refer to a team. Kraken is one singular monster. It would be like calling a team the Godzilla. Would you call a team the Godzilla or the Medusa? I don't think so. Okay, that wouldn't make sense. So I hate the name Kraken for that reason. I love the colors and the logo, Hate the name. So that is why I am not a fan of Yeti. Unless I am mistaken, the Yeti is one creature. It's another name for the abominable snowman, I think. But I guess you can argue that Yeti can be plural, like reindeer is plural of singular reindeer. So maybe that's what they're thinking, that the grammatically correct way to say it is not Yetis plural, it's just Yeti. But I don't know for sure. I don't know a whole lot about the lore of the Yeti, so I can't really say for sure that would be an appropriate use of the name. I just know I'm not a big fan. Next to Utah HC, it is the name I am least excited about, but also the name I predict that the team will go with. I hope I'm wrong, but that's my prediction. I would be okay with mammoth if they use the correct plural of the term. Now, I looked this up on Google, and the plural of mammoth is mammoths with an S. So calling a team mammoth refers to one singular animal. It would be like calling a team the elephant. Would you call a whole team the Utah Elephant? No, of course not. You'd say elephants, or the Utah Gorilla, or the Utah Raccoon. No, of course not. You would add an S to the end of it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the infatuation is with team names that don't have an S on the end. It seems like there's a lot of them, like a lot of attention giving to them. I mean, look at the choices. 5 out of the 6 names for Utah. So sometimes it works, okay? I love the name the Lightning. Tampa Bay Lightning, I love that name. Orlando Magic, Miami Heat. I like those names. But I can't stand the Kraken, the Wild, or even the Avalanche. I've never liked that. The Outlaws is the only name of the group that has an S on it, on the end. And I'll get to that name in a moment. But if you're going to go with the mammoth, then you are you're committing to a grammatical error. But counterpoint, I guess the Maple Leafs do that too. So maybe this teacher here shouldn't be a stickler. I don't know. So it's a no for the hockey club, Utah HC, a no to the Yeti, a no to Mammoth. I'm also not a big fan of Blizzard. It's okay, but since I don't really like the name Avalanche, I really can't say I like Blizzard either. I also think it kind of sounds very generic for a hockey team. Like calling a team the Ice. I mean, it just seems very generic to me. I don't know. It just doesn't scream top hockey league in the world name to me. So that brings us to the final two. I actually like the final two. Outlaws is a cool name. And of course it has an S on the end of it. So I like that. I think it pays, I can never say this word. It pays, I can't say this word, homage or homage to Utah's history. There could be some pretty cool logos that you could make with that, with the Outlaws, a cool mascot, promotional tie-ins, arena bars. They could call them saloons. There could be like swinging doors to some of the places in the arena. Just lots of stuff you can do. So yeah, I like Outlaws. I'm not a fan of the way it sounds with the word Utah in front of it. Utah Outlaws. But I could easily get used to that. It's not a huge deal. It's like the Tampa Bay Rays. I've never liked the way that flows off the tongue either. The Tampa Bay Rays, but you get used to it. Also, not sure if the team colors that they appear to be going with really goes well with the name Outlaw, but now that's really nitpicking, I think. I mean, the Maple Leafs are blue, not green, and I don't think of red and black when I think of Hurricanes. The Blackhawks, their main color is red. The Bruins. The Bruin is a big brown bear, and there's no brown in the Boston uniforms. So it can be done. Okay, so ice blue and black, hopefully purple, with Outlaws, it can be done. And then, of course, you have the Venom. It's a great tie-in, I think, with the bees that the state of Utah is famous for, and I'm pretty sure there are plenty of venomous snakes in the state. So you have some great logo options there. You have some great mascot options. You can nickname your arena or part of it as the hive or the den, like a snake's den. It can work. Or the pit, snake pit. So it can work. So those are my two favorites out of the 6. Venom or Outlaws. I like them equally, but I admit I voted for Outlaws simply because of the S and for the marketing and arena tie-ins that are possible that I just mentioned. So we'll see what they go with. I truly predict it will be Yeti, though. Stupid idea, in my opinion, but that's what I think will happen. Now I'm a uniform geek. I almost said unicorn. A uniform geek. I love talking about team uniforms, jerseys, all that stuff. I've always have. I love going to Aesthetics. It's one of my favorite sites, one of my favorite people to follow on Twitter. Watch all the videos on YouTube. It's awesome. So in addition to Utah, we're also getting new jerseys in Anaheim and Los Angeles. Anaheim has teased a few components of the jersey. They are apparently sticking with the same color scheme, but using an updated Mighty Ducks logo. And I'm okay with this, but I just hope they don't overdo the orange like Nashville overdid the yellow. I think there's just too much yellow in that uniform. Then you have Los Angeles, throwing it back to the Gretzky era. So apparently they're going to go with an updated version of their late 80s, early 90s logo. But I have to say, I'm disappointed. No purple. Okay, one more quick tidbit of non-Blue Jackets news. Pierre-Luc Dubois was traded to the Washington Capitals. So yeah, he is with a division rival now. And I thought about this today. I don't know why any team would want to trade for this man. Why would the Capitals want to bring in that locker room cancer? And maybe he's not a locker room cancer. Perhaps that's not the correct term, but the attitude that he brings. I mean, he has pouted everywhere he has played. Hopefully, he will do the same in Washington and accelerate their downfall. Because I really think Washington is not going to make the playoffs next year. So that's all my non-Blue Jackets hockey news. So now I'm going to get into the Blue Jacket stuff. Of course, the number one news right now is the firing of Pascal Vincent. Don Waddell decided that he wanted to go with someone new. He wanted to go with his guy, so to speak. This will be the 4th head coach in 3 seasons, something like that, for the Blue Jackets. Crazy when you think about it that way. But in my opinion, this was a necessary step, okay? I honestly didn't think he was he was going to get the boot, but he did. I thought he was going to stick around for a year, but my thought is, if you are going to clean house, clean house. You have a new president, a new GM. You might as well shake up the coaching staff too, and get a fresh start. Start with a guy that Don Waddell wants to be there behind the bench. So I support this move. Again, not what I expected. I expected Pascal to get a prove-it season with 1 year left on his contract. You want to stay here while we rebuild? Show us what you got. But Don Waddell has said that, we're really not in need of a true rebuild. We need a retool. So he apparently thinks we can be better than anticipated. And Pascal was just not a part of those plans. Did Pascal get dealt a bad hand? Absolutely. Okay, he was thrown into this head coaching job unexpectedly and with very little time to prepare because of the whole Mike Babcock debacle. Certainly not an optimal situation. But Pascal Vincent did not make the best of the situation. He did not step in and develop the team enough. All right. He did not change the culture enough. He seemed over his head a lot of the time. And just in my opinion, that this was a wise decision by the Blue Jackets and Don Waddell. Okay. He thought a fresh start was needed behind the bench, and so that's what he did. I really like that this guy has come in and is obviously not afraid to hurt feelings in order to do what he thinks is best, is right, is correct, okay, in order to turn this team into a contender. I've seen a lot of people commenting that they feel bad for Pascal Vincent, even calling the situation unfair to him. Well, my response to that is, this is business. Hockey is a business. The NHL is a business. This was a business decision. I find it very difficult to feel bad for this guy. First of all, he did a poor job in his first year on the bench. You can give all the excuses you want, the injuries, the youth, whatever. But nothing can cover the fact that this team did not perform well enough. They didn't show enough growth. They didn't show enough improvement from last season. And there wasn't, in my opinion, enough of a culture shift. He made some very bad decisions regarding ice time. One of those is playing Boone 25 minutes or whatever it was when you're already out of the playoffs, and the guy has had horrible nagging back injuries for most of the last few seasons. So, just not a wise move. That's where you give your young talent a chance to shine, a chance to show what they got. He made lots of bad lineup decisions, right? So he did not make the best of a bad situation. He just seemed like a fish out of water to me. Secondly, why I don't feel bad for this guy, he's still employed. Okay, he's not making $18 an hour. All right, the guy is getting millions of dollars. And he wasn't sent packing, at least to my knowledge. He was relieved of his coaching duties. So he can serve as an advisor or a scout with the team. That's what Jarmo's doing right now. Then, after his contract runs out at the end of next season, he'll have the opportunity to seek a coaching job elsewhere. I have no doubt in my mind that his hockey career is not finished. He'll stay in the NHL in some capacity for a while. My guess is that he signs on as an assistant again somewhere, and maybe someday he'll get his chance at head coach again. Same thing happened to Gerard Gallant. And for God's sake, if Scott Arniel can get an NHL head coaching job again, so can Pascal Vincent. And if you haven't heard, Arniel is the new Winnipeg Jets head coach. Good luck with that one, Jets. So yeah, Pascal is going to be just fine. Now, who are the Jackets going to bring in? Lots of speculation on this one. Who's out there? Well, some names that have been mentioned. Let's see. There's Bob Hartley, Todd McClelland. I can't say his name. Todd McClelland, Dean Evison, Jay Woodcroft, Jeff Blashill, and Gerard Gallant. Those are I'm sure there are others that I'm forgetting, but those are the ones that I remember being mentioned prominently in rumors. It is very difficult for me to be impartial on this, okay? Dean Evison was my favorite player growing up as a Whalers fan as a kid. As I grew up, I modeled my game after him. He was undersized, like me. He didn't score much, but he wasn't afraid to get his butt kicked in the corner if it meant digging out the puck and helping out his team. He played with courage and heart. Not much flair or finesse, but a lot of heart. And that's how I like to think I played. He did well with the Minnesota Wild as their head coach. So, yeah, I'm not going to make it a secret that I'm hoping it's Dean Evison. Just because I like the guy and I can wear my Evison Whalers jersey to Nationwide Arena and it would actually mean something. So I'm a little biased. As for the others, not sure about Hartley. I've never been a huge fan of his. I think why can't I say his name? McClelland. Second stint for Gerard Gallant. They'd be good choices. I honestly don't know enough about Woodcroft or Blashill to really make an informed opinion. There are a lot of people out there suggesting Trent Vogelhuber would be a good choice and hope that he is considered. On one hand, I agree. I don't want him to be the next Jared Bednar. He seems to be a darn good coach, and I don't want to lose the guy to another team like we lost Bednar to Colorado, and then he coaches them to a Stanley Cup championship. That still stings for me and a lot of other fans. But I just don't think this is the right time for Vogelhuber. I don't want to lose him. Keep him in the organization if you can. Bring him up as an assistant maybe. But right now, I think the Jackets should get a coach with some proven NHL experience who can help to develop our young players. And I totally recognize that Bednar did not have NHL experience when he was hired by the Avalanche. So, this is just an opinion, one that I can certainly be wrong about. But I think the Jackets go with an experienced voice for now and hopefully keep Vogelhuber in the organization for the future, possibly to take over down the line. Other news, all right. Patrik Laine, 99.9% sure he will not be a Jacket next season. The news broke that he requested a change of scenery, so the team is exploring trade options to accommodate that. Now, it is no secret that I've never been a huge fan of Patrik Laine, at least in regard to what he brought to the Blue Jackets. He seems like a super nice guy, great person, great team player, but I always kind of viewed him as a one-trick pony. He has that wicked shot, but other than that, average to slightly above average NHL player. not a superstar by any means. His shot is what makes some consider him an elite talent. I just never saw like the stick handling, the hockey sense, the defensive skills. I never saw that. Others saw it. I just really didn't. I was never impressed with those aspects of his game. And I certainly did not think he used his size to his advantage as much as he should have. And of course, he was frequently injured. He never seemed to reach his expected potential in Columbus. And I hope that's a fair assessment. I think it is. He's a darn good player, but I don't think he fit what the Jackets have been trying to build. And he certainly did not mesh with Johnny Gaudreau, as many thought he would. So I think the best way to put it, without knocking the guy, is that it just didn't work out in Columbus for Patrik Laine. And a change of scenery would be in everyone's best interest. So the team is supposedly currently working on options right now. Lots of speculation out there. First, I heard Montreal. Some even suggested, if that were to happen, bringing back Josh Anderson. Now, I like the idea because of Anderson's size and tenacity. And I think that's what the Jackets need right now. More so than snipers like Laine is. But I don't like Anderson's contract. I think the Canadians way overpaid for him, and we'd basically be exchanging one overpaid contract for another. Not a big fan of that idea. Now, bringing someone like Josh Anderson, I'm good with that. But I'm not sure what's available in regard to that type of player. Elliot Friedman also mentioned Seattle as a possibility, possible trade partner. And when Friedman talks, people listen. My question is, what are you getting back in return for Laine if you're trading with Seattle? If it's draft picks and cap relief, you know what? I'm good with that. If Seattle wants to take on that huge contract, go for it. That will give Waddell more flexibility in signing our free agents and possibly bringing in some others. Or make it more tolerable in eating more of Elvis's contract if and when he is able to trade him. But there's talk coming out, I think today, that Waddell said in a press conference or something that he didn't plan on trading him because of that contract, because of the term and cost of it. Some have suggested bringing back Bjorkstrand. Now, I'm all for bringing back Bjorkstrand. Absolutely love the guy. But that goes against my desire to make the Jackets bigger. Okay, if there was a way to send out one of our smaller forwards as part of a package for Oliver Bjorkstrand, that's fine, even better. Chicago and Carolina, they've been mentioned as possible destinations, especially with Waddell's connection to Carolina. But I keep coming back to what the return would be. What would we be getting in return? Despite Laine's less than optimal stats, the Jackets are not going to just give him away for free. He's a big name, all right, despite the lack of big name production. He has the potential to be a 40-goal scorer again, no doubt, with the proper supporting cast. And I think Waddell knows this, and I think other teams know this. So we'll have to see what Waddell can do. This is shaping up to be his first big trade, perhaps his first trade at all, as the New Jackets GM. One person I do not want to see Waddell go after is Cam Atkinson. who the Flyers are apparently shopping or hoping to buy out or something like that. I love the guy. He will always be a Blue Jacket to me. But he's not what this team needs moving forward. Let's see, what else? Not huge earth-shattering news, but Adam Fantilli changing his number to 19. I saw a lot of complaints on Twitter about this. People are upset that, they own a number 11 Fantilli jersey and now they want to get it altered or they feel they need to buy a new number 19 one. Here's the deal, everyone. You can be a little annoyed by this, but please don't be upset. First of all, you buy the jersey to support the player and the team, not the number he wears. No one is going to make fun of you or accuse you of not being a true fan because you're wearing a number 11 Fantilli jersey instead of a 19. Secondly, this is history. This is team history. You're showing that you have been a fan of the player since his first year with the team when he wore 11. I don't see anything wrong with that. What I think a lot of people don't understand is that a number can be very important to a player, as silly as it sounds. And I am living proof. I have played hockey since I was a kid. I still play. I still play in adult leagues, and I have played in adult tournaments. Since I was a bantam, I have always been number 12 or number 94. Every adult league jersey, 12 or 94. Every custom jersey I buy, 12 or 94. I wore 12 throughout my high school career. That was Dean Evason's number, by the way. That's why I chose it. See? I really am a huge Dean Evason fan. But summer leagues, I thought it was really cool when Brendan Shanahan wore number 94 for the Whalers. And that was my high school graduation year, so I used 94 in summer leagues. And yes, that situation did not end well for the Whale, but I still like the number. So yeah, numbers can be very important for players. Superstitious even. I mean, how many of you out there have been clamoring for Adam Boqvist to change his number from the supposedly cursed number 27? It's important to a lot of players, and you know what? It was important for Adam Fantilli. It was important for him. He wanted to switch back to the number he has always worn, and the number I assume he wanted when he joined the Blue Jackets. But he couldn't because of Liam Foudy. But now Foudy's gone. So don't be mad about the switch. It happens, and he has every right to do that. The last thing I got today is the draft. The Jackets are, of course, picking 4th in this summer's entry draft. Who are they going to pick? I am not going to sit here and lie and tell you who the Jackets should pick based on my analysis of the available players. I'm not going to do that because, besides Celebrini, I know next to nothing about the available players. And what I keep reading over and over again is that after number 1, it's a crapshoot. There aren't really any standouts or locks for the top 3 or top 5 or even top 10. I guess the top 10 are supposedly the players are almost interchangeable. It all just depends on who the teams like and what their needs are. So I'm not going to say who I think the Jackets should take. But I will tell you the type of player that I think they should look for. They should be looking for a player with some size and grit. Not even going to comment on what position they should focus on. I just want some size and grit. Now, I've heard this Lindstrom fits that mold. I don't know. But I guess he has some health concerns. But again, I do not know enough to comment on it. And I don't want to say something that I don't truly know about. All I can say is I want the Jackets to bring in more size and more grit. Or elite scoring, if there is any. But I don't, from what I've read, I don't think there is. But I can go with that too. I just want to see, like all other fans, I just want to see this team get better. And that's all I got. That's all I got for now, everyone. I will most likely be recording a new episode when more CBJ news breaks this summer, and I'm sure it will break. Waddell is no doubt going to make some changes to the roster. You know, he's going to hire a new coach. He's going to be doing some signing of free agents, possibly declining to sign some of our free agents. So we're in a holding pattern right now. But when CBJ news breaks, then I will be hopping on my mic and recording another episode. Until then, thank you so much for listening. Hit me up with any comments, questions, or suggestions. You can, of course, find me on Twitter or Instagram. Just search for Whaler Jacket, and you will find me. I hope everyone is enjoying the summer so far. Take care, everyone, and be safe this 4th of July. If I don't record another episode by the 4th of July, be safe. See y'all later. Go Jackets.